Let's build a REST API with GitHub Copilot. Today, I want to show you how to build a backend project with GitHub Copilot, and what better way to do that than to build an API. I'm Kedasha, and I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Now, let's take a look at what we'll be building. We're building the backend API for PlanVenture, a travel itinerary builder that helps users plan their trips. A full description of what we're building today is included in the starter repository that you can clone at this link. To build along with me, you'll need access to a code editor. I'm using VS Code, have Python installed on your machine, and have access to an API client like Bruno to test our routes. You'll also need access to GitHub Copilot, so make sure you sign up for free if you haven't already done so. We'll be using the FLask framework with SQLAlchemy for the database, and we'll add authentication and full CRUD functionality for managing trips. Each trip will include a destination, start and end dates, and a basic itinerary structure with location coordinates for mapping. We'll focus primarily on the MVP or the basic features needed to support the front end that we'll build in the next episode. Our goal today is to create a working API that handles user authentication and basic trip management. I would love for you to follow along and use GitHub Copilot to build with me. Now, let's go to the codes. Okay, so on GitHub, navigate to this repository, gh.io/planventure, clone the repo, and cd into the PlanVenture API directory. Now, let's create a virtual environment. Open your terminal and type python-m venv space venv. Click enter or the return key on your keyboard. Now type source venv/bin/activate to activate and use the virtual environment. You'll know the environment is active when your terminal indicates venv right here. Now let's install our dependencies. Type pip install-r requirements.txt. And finally, let's start the basic server that we have. So in your terminal run FLask run --debug. Your server should now be on port 5000. Open up your API client to test that it's running. I'm using Bruno today, so in Bruno, I can create a new GET request, add the URL, and click Run. I should get a message that says, Welcome to PlanVenture API. And it looks like we're ready to start building. So the next thing we want to do is to set up our database. So open up the app.py file and open up Copilot chat and type at workspace, update the FLask app with SQLAlchemy and basic configurations. Choose the Claude 3.5 Sonnet model and press enter to send the prompt. You'll get an output of a plan, a code block, and a summary of the changes made from GitHub Copilot. Let's take a look at what it just generated for us. Let's accept these changes. So to update the app.py file, click this Apply in Editor button, and Copilot will make this update for us. Now let's save this code change in a new file. Click the three dots here and select Insert in a new file, save the file, and do the same thing below for the other changes. Finally, let's install our dependencies. Return to Copilot chat and type at workspace, update requirements.txt with the necessary packages for FLask API with SQLAlchemy and JWT. Accept the changes by clicking the Apply in Editor button and save the file. Now let's create our user and trip models. Based on the GitHub Copilot issue that we were assigned, the user needs an email, a password, and we must include password hashing and timestamps. The trip needs to have a destination, start and end dates, coordinates, and an itinerary with a user relationship. That's a lot to get through, so let's bring April in to help us get these things done.
Hey Kedasha, are you ready to build these models?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get started. Open up your IDE. We're going to navigate to GitHub Copilot and then drop down to Copilot Edits. Once we've navigated to Copilot Edits, we want to attach the files. Then we want to choose the Claude 3.5 Sonnet model and type. Create SQLAlchemy user model with email, password hash, and timestamps. Add code in new files. Now let's watch Copilot edits get to work. It's going to give us a plan. Then you'll see that it's created some new folders, files, and it's going to give us the full code that we need for our user model. Let's go ahead and accept these changes, save the files, and take a look at the code. Now we're going to create a Python script to create the database tables. We're going to go ahead and return to Copilot edits and type in update code to be able to create the DB tables with a Python shell script. Accept the code and initialize the database. Open your terminal and run python init_db.py. You'll see a new planventure.db file generated. Let's install an extension so we can see the tables. Navigate to the Extensions tab and search for SQLite Viewer. Click Install, and then you should be able to click on the DB instance and have a better look at the tables. Let's go ahead and create the trip model. We're going to navigate back to Copilot edits and type create SQLAlchemy trip model with user relationship, destination, start date, end date, coordinates, and itinerary. Every time I see Copilot creating files and generating folders and updating code, my mind is absolutely blown. Let's accept these changes and see what we have. Cool. Now let's run python init_db.py to add the trips to the database. Awesome. We just completed those database models in record time. Let's commit our changes and work on the authentication next. And this actually brings me to a great hidden gem in VS Code. Navigate to the source control button here and stage your changes. Now this sparkly icon here, click it, and you will see Copilot generate a commit message. How cool is that? If you notice, I always make sure that I'm reviewing the suggestions that Copilot provides. This ensures that I catch any errors right away and I can adjust the code as needed. So far though, it's doing a pretty swell job. So I was just taking a look at this GitHub issue to build the auth for planventure. For our authenticated user root, I wanted to make sure that we include password hashing and salt for extra security. So we're going to go ahead and go back and open up Copilot edits again, create password hashing and salt utility functions for the user model. Let's take a look at what's been generated. We can click the file links here that were changed by Copilot edits. So let's click on each file and see what it's outputted. Let's accept these changes. Now let's set up the JWT token and validation. Continuing on in our GitHub Copilot chat window, we're going to go ahead and type setup JWT token generation and validation functions. We can see changes are being generated, and let's have a look at that. Let's save these changes and install the JWT package. Let's create the actual route so we can register a new user. We'll continue to type in the chat window with GitHub Copilot. Create auth routes for user registration with email validation. Let's accept these changes and have a look at GitHub Copilot's output. Really cool.
That was so nice to watch. I guess it's time to test our registration route.
It is, absolutely. We're going to go ahead and use Bruno today. So let's head over to Bruno. We're going to add our own URL. So it's going to be the base URL /auth/register. We're going to make it a post request, and we're going to add our JSON body. So I'm going to say email test@email.com and password test1234. Super secure.
Very secure.
Now, of course, that password is just for this demo. Make sure to use a much more stronger password for your login.
Yes, and we don't need to set any auth token yet because we're going to get that access token from the server when we register.
Exactly. So let's set up our headers. So I'm adding content-type application/JSON. This looks really good. So let's run this and hope for a 200 response.
Sweet, it's working.
Amazing. If we go to our Plan Venture DB, we should see the user now showing up once we refresh the file. Perfect. We have test@email.com in our database.
It looks like everything is working really nicely.
Absolutely. Let's add the login route.
Nice.
We're going to keep using Copilot edits because it's just so fun and honestly easy to use. Create login route with JWT token generation. This should give us the full route that we can accept and test right away in Bruno. Okay, now it's time to test the route in Bruno. So I'm going to add a JSON body with the user email and password that we've already previously registered. I'm also going to add the content type header with application/JSON again. Let's make it a post request and hit send.
Nice. So it looks like our login route is working and our user is able to register and log in successfully.
And we built these routes pretty seamlessly using natural language and the power of GitHub Copilot edits. That was so much fun.
The next thing that we need to do is an auth middleware to protect our routes.
Ah, of course. Let's head back into GitHub Copilot edits to get this done. Type in create auth middleware to protect routes. Now here's a bit of an Easter egg for you. If you're using Visual Studio Code locally, you can speak to Visual Studio Code using your natural voice.
Oh, and that's because of the VS Code voice extension, right?
Absolutely. It is so much easier and more convenient to speak instead of typing sometimes. So let's take a look at the changes. Let's accept these changes and test the routes again to definitely make sure that they're working.
Oh wow, it looks like everything is working perfectly.
Yep, and that means authentication is complete. So let me go ahead, commit these changes, and push them in for review.
Wow, that was so much that we got done in such a short time. There's one more route that we need to do, but thanks so much, April, for all that work that you did. Let's take a look at the GitHub issue for the next route and keep working. Okay, so it looks like the trip route needs full CRUD operations with a default itinerary template. Let's continue using Copilot edits to get this done. So I'm gonna pop open Copilot edits and type create trip routes blueprint with CRUD operations. So I'm expecting to get the create, read, update, and delete routes with this prompt. So let's take a look at what was generated. Okay, let's accept these changes, save our files, and test the routes. The first route to test is the create route. Let's add the URL /trips. Now we can add our JSON body with the destination, start date, and end date like so. Make it a post request, add our headers, content-type, application/JSON, and authorization, which is going to be our bearer token. Let's log in a user, grab the access token, return to the create trip request in Bruno, and add the bearer token. If you're using another API client, add your token in the appropriate area. And let's send the request. Amazing! Now let's add the default itinerary template. Open up edits and type create a function to generate the default itinerary template. Let's take a look at the changes, accept them, and save the files. But first, let's make sure that we review the code that we just got from Copilot. Okay, now when we run the getTripById route, we should get an itinerary attached to it like so. Amazing. Everything is looking really good. There's so much more that we can add to this API, but this is looking good for this project. Let's set up CORS and add a basic health check endpoint and be done with the MVP. Great, so let's accept these changes. And it looks like we just completed the MVP of the API, which means you just built an API with GitHub Copilot.
Kedasha, before we wrap up this MVP, we probably need to add some documentation in the README.
That's a really good point, and we should also add some tests.
Absolutely. So I like to use GitHub Copilot Chat to quickly and efficiently write READMEs for me. So I'm going to go ahead and open up GitHub Copilot Chat and type in, at workspace, create a detailed README about the Plan Venture API. I can click and get the full README file that I can just now pop into the API README documentation, and we're done.
That is so lovely. Now there's truly no reason for us to have empty README files.
Yep. Now I'm going to go work on writing some tests and let you wrap up this episode.
That's a good idea. Thanks, April. So now that we have our API built with some great documentation, you can take it a step further by adding tests for the routes. Be sure to tune in for a future episode where we create tests with GitHub Copilot and even show you how you can perform TDD or test-driven development with AI Assistant. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was surely so fun to build with you. If you want to learn more, we've created a blog post that accompanies this episode. You can just click the link in the description to be taken there. Remember to sign up for GitHub Copilot if you haven't already to get started for free. And join us for the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes. And until then, happy coding!